Have you ever wondered why some people find it hard to connect with INFPs? Despite our deep thinking and amazing qualities, there are certain characteristics about us INFPs that can sometimes rub people the wrong way. So this video is going to go into the 10 common aspects that other people might find challenging or disagreeable or may even hate about INFPs. First, we are perceived as aloof or distant. INFPs often dwell in these rich inner worlds, making us come across as detached or unapproachable. I know many moments in my life, I can recall them, where people were uncomfortable approaching me or afraid to approach me. Eventually they did, and they even told me that. Or people called me narcissistic just because I was alone in my corner at a club or something like that, uncomfortable, unwilling to talk to other people, unwilling to expose myself, to be open and vulnerable in a social setting. Next, we are overly idealistic with our expectations. We are dreamers who can set these really high standards, and sometimes it makes it difficult for other people to meet our expectations. Within ourselves, as well as within other people, we see the potential that the person could succeed with if they just got out of their own way, right? If they or ourselves just finally let it happen. And because of that, we have these really high expectations on who a person can be, who they could be, what they could do with their lives. And we hold them up there. We put them on this pedestal. But if they're up on a pedestal, that means that we're looking up to them and they're forced to look down on us. And they're in this vulnerable position where every mistake, every step that they take is seen and vulnerable and potentially dangerous. They'll have to be let down. If you just think of the metaphor of a pedestal, right? So we got to be careful with that. And we really do want the best for them, and we want the best for ourselves and the world. But having these really high standards makes it difficult for other people to meet our expectations. Next, difficulty with structure and deadlines. INFPs value flexibility and spontaneity. We often have trouble with rigid schedules and deadlines, getting things done on time, or even if somebody says that we should do something within a certain time, we rebel against it. We push it away. We're like, no, I don't want to do that right now. I need to be free. I need to have the possibility to do what I want when I feel like I want to do it. And that definitely clashes with other people's perspectives. Also, emotionally sensitive. We experience our emotions really deeply, which can sometimes result in hurt feelings or overreactions. We take it all in. And within us, we're sifting through and trying to figure out all this stuff. And why did it happen this way? What's the meaning of this? Is it really important to me? And we just delve deeper and deeper into our emotions and into our feeling assessment of those emotions, our rational interpretation of the emotions. And because of that, we spend a lot of time understanding ourselves and having a self-focus. And then it magnifies everything. It's like putting a magnifying glass on every little infringement, every little misstep that another person did. And that can get into this place where it seems like it's this huge, massive thing, and we might overreact to it. It was definitely a bigger issue for me when I was younger than it is now, but I'm 39 now. Next, struggle with practical matters. INFPs find these day-to-day practical tasks mundane, and we prefer to focus on ideas and possibilities and options. Of course, nobody necessarily wants to bring their car in for maintenance or do their taxes or finances or clean their house. Maybe some people do, but we, based off how our personality type is structured, we push against it. We really struggle with it. And that, if you ask my wife, who's an ENFJ, it can cause a lot of stress because there are tons of half-done tasks everywhere. And just kind of I did some work over here, I cleaned up a little bit something, and then I went over here. I got distracted and didn't quite finish that. Because it's, I'm busy. I'm busy in my head. I got my head canon, my ideas that I'm playing with. and I can't be fussing with organizing the table. It's just not as appealing. Next, we are private and guarded. INFPs are deeply private people, making it really challenging for other people to understand or connect with us at times. I get a lot of comments from other people in the channel, other personality types, saying like, I have an INFP in my life and they won't open up. And I don't know what to do about it. Like, I want to help them so much, but I can't get in. And I've definitely been in that position where I shut off all emotions, or that was the attempted goal, and didn't want to be vulnerable, didn't want to, um, again, expose my heart, this open, raw, beating heart, because it's scary. And other people want to help us, but if we keep pushing it away, or hiding, putting up walls, it becomes really difficult for the people in our lives who want to help us to actually help us. Next, we are passive in conflict. We often avoid confrontation. Some of us are better at it than others, and also kind of depends on your Enneagram type. I'm a 9, so I'm really against conflict. But this can often lead to unresolved issues or misunderstandings because we didn't act on it. We didn't get feedback and say, what is the situation here? Let's just fix it. And the threshold that we have for avoiding conflict, I think, is a lot higher than other people. And even I used to live with an ESTJ and an ENFJ couple, and they used to fight all the time. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't even be in the same house because it was constantly just big, loud voices and back and forth. And I brought it up to them eventually. This is a guy I've known now for 21 years. I brought it up to him eventually, and he was like, no, this is just how we talk. We're just getting to understand each other more deeply. So there are different perspectives and perceptions of what conflict is. Something to keep in mind. Highly independent. Our independent nature can make cooperation or reliance on others really difficult. We want to do it ourselves. We want to figure it out ourselves. We want to watch a video on it and understand it and piece it together. With emotions, we want to figure out how we are feeling about it because another person likely cannot understand it to the level that we want to understand it. So we try to figure it out ourselves. And it makes it really difficult, again, for people who want to support us. Even like business projects and things like that. We want to do it ourselves because we have this artist's vision of how things will come to play, and maybe a little bit of perfectionism in there too, and fear of failure too. Another one is cutting ties without explanation. We just often leave people confused and hurt. We just vanish. We stop responding, stop texting, stop calling, don't answer the phone. I've gotten a lot of private emails about this too from other personality types. Like, I don't know what to do. I was in a relationship with an INFP. I thought everything was going well, and now they won't even respond to me. I don't know what I did. What can I do about that? How can I fix the situation? It's frustrating. We're also seen as dreamers and not doers. This consistent focus on our internal world and dreams can make us seem less action-oriented, and actually we are less action-oriented until we get that fire lit, until we're completely convicted about something. We're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. I've hit that threshold. Something's got to change. It's got to be me. It's got to be now. I'm going to do it. Up until that point, it's a lot of like, let me think about it. Let me think of different possibilities, imagine different ways. I don't really feel like it today. Got to be in the right state. Got to have the moons aligned and all this other stuff. And that can be frustrating for people who see us as possibly having potential to get things done, or they need something to get done because we're a part of their team in whatever way that might be. And maybe we're not fulfilling our side. If, as an INFP, you recognize these traits within you, and you are seeking ways of making improvements, then the tips that I'll share next can be a really helpful starting point. But I just want to make sure that it's important that you remember that every personality type, including ours, has unique strengths and challenges. And if you feel that these certain characteristics, like this rich inner world or sensitivity or independent spirit, are more of an asset than a drawback, that's completely fine. Those are really amazing traits. But just know, like, there's a cost of specialization. If you focus on one thing, if you do one thing, that means that, there's going to be another area of things that you're not doing that will struggle. If we focus on introverted feeling as our dominant function, this way of making decisions based off what truly resonates with us, with our soul, our conscience, then that means that we are not spending time focusing on getting things done, on extroverted thinking, of accomplishing tasks, of measuring progress. And if that's good, that's good. If it's okay, it's okay. But there's a cost of specialization. So for instance, if you prefer not to be bound by strict structures and deadlines because it helps you maintain your creative freedom, and you feel that there's no more balanced way of accomplishing that, well then, by all means, continue as you are. If you feel that your sensitivity allows you to connect with people on a deeper level, with all the ups and downs, then use that to your advantage. So at the end of the day, understanding yourself and how you interact with the world is what matters. If you're comfortable with who you are and you feel that the perceived negatives actually benefit you in some way, then that's great too, right? After all, these are just traits that are an emergent of your INFP personality type. We are introspective, imaginative, passionate, and individualistic, but sometimes that can cause conflict with other people. So let me give you some tips and pointers on things that you could do to improve these areas, if you so choose to. Being perceived as aloof or distant can be turned into becoming more approachable. Sharing your thoughts and ideas connects you to others. This connection can lead to richer friendships, deeper understanding of yourself and other people, and unexpected opportunities. So make a conscious effort to share your thoughts and ideas and feelings. Engage more with others, and this will help break that perception of being unapproachable. Change your posture. Be a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more proactively assertive, and people will react differently if that's what you want to do. Instead of overly idealistic expectations, develop manageable expectations. By tempering your idealistic expectations, you will cultivate resilience, you foster better relationships, and experience less disappointment. Practice empathy and understanding that other people have different capabilities and strengths. So we're really good at this. But sometimes we kind of skip over the fact that we struggle with it too. And we set these huge, high expectations on other people. And if we just lower them a little bit, lowered expectations, if you just lower it a little bit and communicate clearly with the other person, see where they're at, see what they are achieving, what they are doing, and offer to support them, you can avoid disappointment. You can be able to support people by listening to them, by creating space for them, and opening up a way of working together to achieve something. And then you won't have this massive view of the other person being a god, because that doesn't help you and doesn't help them either. What if you went from difficulty with structure and deadlines to embracing structure and deadlines in a way that helps you to create the life that really resonates with who you are and what you want? Learning to handle structure and deadlines allows for better time management, of course, improved productivity. Uh, you become more reliable. So try incorporating structure and schedules and deadlines into your life gradually. Start with small tasks before moving on to these bigger ones. But if you work with your personality type and that perceiver boost of energy where you get really excited about an idea and then it kind of dwindles out after you kind of imagine finishing it in your mind, work with that. Break your goals down into smaller steps. Get that boost of fulfillment from completing the smaller tasks. Put it in your calendar, and you will make massive progress on your goals. And then you will be fueled and happier because you are doing things that are aligned with the passions and joys in your life and the life that you want to live in the future. How about emotionally sensitive to controlling emotional sensitivity? Mastering emotional calisthenics can really help you improve your mental health, better understanding of your emotions, and more balanced relationships. Learning these emotional self-regulation techniques are really helpful because you'll see that you can go into a negative place and you can get back out. You learn how to read, how to have awareness of your emotions, and how to shape them and change your state to match what you want to feel. You can make yourself very happy and excited. You can make yourself depressed. I know a lot of INFPs will be like, well, if I'm not sad, then I can't do my art. I can't do my music. And I don't want that. I'm a little bit afraid of feeling happy. Or other INFPs have said that they don't want to change their emotion because they want to be authentic to it. And I understand that too. I've been through there too. But know that if it's not serving you, if it's not helping you, then it's probably a good idea to find a way of changing it. And you can do mindfulness and meditation to help manage emotional reactivity. There are many other techniques as well. What about when struggling with practical matters is less of an issue, then you can start handling practical matters quicker. By making time for these tasks, you can actually be less stressed. You can achieve a better balance in life. You can increase your ability to deal with the real world. You get stuff done and you stop worrying about it. You designate specific times for practical tasks. This is the time that I clean my house. This is the time that I stop playing Schrodinger's finances and I actually look at my bills and look at my bank account and say, okay, this is how much I have. This is what I need to do. I got to pay this. It reduces stress by having that awareness and by taking practical steps. And this helps us balance these visionary, idealistic pursuits and everyday responsibilities. That really helps us, build capability and learn to adult, which is something that I guess maybe it's something that we're always going to struggle with a bit, but you can improve it. You can get better at it. And then when that is taken care of, when the sensory experiential world is taken care of, then you have the freedom to use your ideas in the richest way possible. Private and guarded can be changed to cultivating openness. By becoming less private and guarded, you allow others to understand and appreciate you more. This deepens relationships. It reduces misunderstandings. When I changed my perception of my identity from being this restricted shadow rogue to being a healer, to opening up, to expressing my feelings, everything changed for me. My relationships definitely got better through it as well. And I've helped many, many people because of allowing myself to be more vulnerable and open. And I wouldn't go back to how things were before. Though maybe that was necessary at the time for my own survival needs. I don't know. But it's so much better now. And expressing your feelings and thoughts can create these deeper connections with other people that helps with relationships a ton. What if you went from being passive in conflict situations to becoming assertive in conflict? By addressing conflicts instead of avoiding them, you can actually resolve issues more quickly. You can build respect with other people. People like it when you're like, you don't need to be angry, but being assertive, taking a stand, standing for what is important to you. Really helps you develop this amazing strength and resource for your future. You can share more about yourself with others. You can learn assertive communication skills so that you can learn how to voice your concerns, your disagreements, and not see everything as a conflict, but see it as an opportunity to play with ideas, to maybe help shift or mold people in a positive way. Because you're an INFP. I'm sure you have positive intentions. I laugh because I just imagine all INFPs as going through what I went through of like, am I a bad person or not? No, I think I'm a good person. And really, like, I think more about helping people than most people I know in my life. So anyway, and this can solve issues before they escalate because you are proactively dealing with the problem instead of waiting for it to fester and it gets bigger and bigger and more difficult to handle. It's like seal the wall so that the zombies don't get in. Then you don't need to worry about it as much. But if you're like, oh man, there's a hole over there, I know the zombies are going to come in sometime, I'm just going to ignore it. That's bad. That's a bad idea. Don't ignore the hole in the wall because the zombies will come in. Being highly independent is great as an introvert, but people go through this me, we growth period in all aspects of our lives. Like your mom is pregnant. You're with her. You're in a we situation. Then it's you, me. And then you start to bond again. We. And then you go off on your own. Me. And you get into a relationship. We. It's me, we. And learning to appreciate interdependence and acknowledging the need to rely on others can lead to better ideas, more effective relationships and teamwork, a broader perspective on problem solving. The world needs all of these different character classes. Imagine the world as a massive multiplayer RPG. We need all of these different character classes playing to their best ability. If we want everybody to be healers, then we don't have the warriors, we don't have the hunters, the mages, the paladins, the rogues. We need all these different character classes. And with that comes the understanding that we need them because they work together for teamwork, for collaboration, for covering one's weaknesses, for allowing your strengths to shine. So understand that relying on others is not a weakness, but it's actually a strength. If you know that this is not something that you're good at, this is not your wheelhouse, and you don't care for it to be that, then delegate it out. Find somebody who likes to do that or doesn't mind it as much. Imagine not cutting ties without explanation, but rather communicating closure clearly. By providing clear explanations when cutting ties, you reduce misunderstandings, you give closure to others, and you form healthier relationships. Closure is a great thing. If you've ever been in a situation where you don't know how the other person is feeling and then they ghost you, that sucks. I've been through it a bunch. Back when I was in the dating game, and it was horrible. And I did it too. It was not good. It's not good for either party. It was not a party. So try to provide closure when ending relationships. It sucks, and this goes back to that not wanting to deal with conflict. I understand. But clear communication can reduce confusion and reduce hurt feelings. And it lets the other person just move on with their life. It lets you move on with your life. It's not something that you're going to think or feel about anymore because it's over. Instead of being seen as dreamers, not doers, what if you made a transition from dreamer to doer? Acting on these visions and these ideas can lead to actualization of your dreams, validation of your capabilities, and increased self-confidence. Translate your ideas into concrete, material, manifested plans and actions. Regularly setting and accomplishing goals can really demonstrate your ability to set your heart and your mind to a vision and do what's necessary to make it happen. As an INFP, I'm sure you have plenty of awesome things that you want for yourself and for your people, your community, and for the world. What if you just did 10% more? What if you're 10% more activated on any of those dreams? What kind of an impact could you have? How would you feel about yourself if you woke up every day excited to wake up, to pursue your dreams? It's a great feeling. And that comes through making progress. It comes through making a decision to do stuff, even if you don't really want to do it. You don't feel like doing it, but you know it's so important to you that you just got to do it. So important to your soul. And doing it and making progress and reflecting over it. That's how you become happy. That's how you get fulfillment. Like I said before, take on the suggestions that work for you. If you're happy as you are now, then more power to you. If you realize that you can start making simple changes today that will reduce or make a lot of these difficulties disappear, and you want that to happen, then pick one area and start small. Each XP adds up. If you want to know more about your INFP personality type, then head over to inowfeelpositive.com and get the INFP personality type tutorial. It's a free 5-day course that teaches you the ins and outs of your personality type. A one-size-fits-all method that doesn't consider your individual strengths and talents and struggles as an INFP isn't really helpful. So get the course and you'll get practical tips on how to be happy and fall in love with your INFP personality type. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for working on yourself. I know this might have been a bit of a difficult video to watch because people are, we're talking about things that people don't like about us. But there are things that we can learn from it that we can improve if we choose to improve. And that doesn't mean that we are changing our personality type. That doesn't mean that we are becoming not who we are in order to make the world happy. It's just we're becoming more of who we could be. It's like if my car is... I had a car when I was younger. Underneath the driver's side, there was no floor. The car was like $300 or $500 or something like that. I could have just kept the car as it is and be like, I don't want to fix it because it's the car. I don't want to change it. It was a bit safer for me to work with my dad and get some like sheet metal and make a floor for the underneath my feet as a driver. And that didn't make the car not the car. It just kind of patched up some of the holes, made things work a little bit better. It's a little bit safer. I didn't have to worry about that anymore, and I got to focus on my destination instead of slipping out underneath my car and getting rolled over. Love you guys.